episode of the GameZone podcast. Today is Tuesday, February 12th, at the time of recording. And we have some news to talk about and some games and all sorts of fun stuff. I'm editor-in-chief of GameZone, Cade, and I'm joined by Mike Splechta.
Hello.
And Matt Liebel.
Hey, you got it right, yeah.
Hey,
Usually takes a couple tries.
Look at me.
Yeah, quick guy.
So, why don't we start? Just what's everyone been playing this week?
Mike?
I actually just beat Kingdom Hearts 3.
Don't spoil anything.
Very good.
Round of applause, round of applause. yes, let's not talk about
I'm playing through
anything.
the entire trilogy, the entire franchise, the entire series.
The whole saga.
And I just beat, what did I just beat? I beat Kingdom Hearts 2. And then did I jump right into Birth by Sleep? Was that what was next in the... Yeah, I'm in Birth by Sleep now. So I'm chugging along.
I have also been making my way through Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm at the time this goes up, will probably go up after the Metro Exodus embargo lifts. I've been playing Metro Exodus. I'm a few hours into that. That's a cool game. I'm sure we'll talk about that later.
Nice.
Unless you want me to talk about it now. Up to you.
No,
let's do that. Let's hop into the news first.
Okay. And Division 2, I played the beta of that, so we'll get to that too.
And I think we've also all been playing Apex Legends, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
I got my
just
first
about to
win
mention
tonight.
Oh,
you
man.
son of a
Yeah.
jerk.
I know. I was
still-
super hyped.
Yeah. I wish I could have that luck.
I've been really upset because there's been so many matches where I get so close, and then one match the other night, we were playing and we got stuck outside of the ring because we were trying to move forward and we met like a big cliff wall that we couldn't get around in time to beat the ring. So the ring killed us when we were the last squad alive.
Whoa, that
I was
sucks.
really pissed
That
off.
sucks.
Yeah, but that's all right. We got
me, Matt, and another buddy all got like second place finishes last night, like
Every
times in a
match,
row.
every match, yeah.
It's so frustrating.
We're really good at not finding people, and then when we do, we get killed. So
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. I guess we should probably just address. I didn't have it on the news here, but yesterday Apex Legends hit 25 million players total with 2 million concurrents.
Yeah, that's insane.
Good for them.
Yeah, they really crushed it.
I mean, it's worth pointing out that it's a free-to-play game, so we don't know how that translates to revenue, but good for them.
Yeah. Someone from BBC Radio 1 reached out to me today, and they said, "Hey, you want to talk about Apex Legends in an article we're doing?" I'm like, "What?"
What?
And so I was like, "Sure." I'm not writing it, but they like kind of interviewed me about it and asked what I thought about it and like the trajectory of it and the popularity. So I think I don't know when that's going up. They gave me a rough estimate, but I won't say because it's not my article. But
interesting.
So that'll go up eventually. I'm sure I'll post that on my Twitter when I see it. I was pretty like, well, this is interesting. I didn't think I was that cool.
I mean, you're pretty big. You're pretty big in the UK.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm like you know how like Japan has like K-pop stars and stuff, and I'm like that for the UK.
Yeah,
Of course, it makes perfect sense now.
They have plushies of me.
Stay a while and listen.
Moving into the actual news now, we have. What do you guys want to talk about first? You guys want to talk Sony? You want to talk Activision?
Let's talk Activision because it's fresh on my mind.
Yeah. So today, Activision started their earnings call by saying they had like a record quarter or maybe even a record year, and then they completely ignored that they laid off 800 employees today, roughly.
Yikes.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a bummer. I believe a lot of it was on the Blizzard side.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Or let me check the actual stuff here. But it's been known for quite some time that some layoffs were coming, but no one knew what the scale of those layoffs would be. But the company said it would be cutting mainly non-game development departments and bolstering its development staff for franchises like Call of Duty and Diablo.
How many more developers do they need on Call of Duty?
I really don't know.
Like,
you know how many
or
studios
even-
they have on that game?
Well, remember they have 3 studios, right? That
I know,
alternate
Yeah,
but,
between
like,
but they have
Call of
come
Duty.
support
on.
studios too.
Okay,
They
so
have-
that makes sense because they did say that the new Call of Duty is gonna have a campaign, so maybe they're doing that.
yeah,
It says for
And-
Blizzard, the layoffs only have affected non-game development departments. So,
Yeah.
esports and publishing
That's
and stuff
what
like
Okay.
that.
that's
I
what
mean,
saw.
Yeah, layoffs suck, but
Yeah.
I mean, if
If a
I
business
get
is
it.
failing, you gotta cut.
Yeah.
You gotta cut somewhere, right? But
It
800
sucks.
people's a lot. But it's also
Yeah.
a very big company. It's
Yeah, I think-
9,600 people. I
Yeah.
think is what I
But
saw.
did we know their esports wasn't doing that well? Like I always thought
this is
esports,
first I know.
huh?
This is the first I knew of that.
Yeah, I always imagined like esports for every company is doing well just because esports is so big now.
Sure.
it sucks that they both that they just get fired and that like the company doesn't try to like move them into a different role or
Yeah.
something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm reading a thing here. The Activision's CEO is worth an estimated $7 billion,
Yeah.
and their CFO received $15 million in
Yep.
signing related bonuses.
And that was like a month ago or something. I'm pretty sure.
Yikes!
I'm all for capitalism, and I'm like the biggest fan of that. But damn, that sucks. Like,
Yeah. It's definitely like kind of tug at your collar. Ooh,
Yeah,
like
man,
the top guys are getting rich, and then everyone
Yeah.
else is kind of like.
and those guys are the one. I mean, great. Look, CEOs and CFOs work hard, but like, it's not like the developers aren't putting in overtime. Also, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
It's
I
like
mean,
they're the ones getting shit on by
exactly.
freaking teenagers.
Especially Activision, like Call of Duty
Yeah.
and stuff. The amount of shit that they get, and I'm sure.
And most of it's probably coming from the top. They're saying, "Oh, we need
exactly.
yeah."
Yeah, because they want to follow the right trends so they can stay at the
But-
top.
It also, I mean, development staffs I feel like are totally like blown out, like in terms of
Bloated, yeah.
size. Yeah,
Mhm.
they're totally bloated. I mean, I know Activision's a big company; they have a lot going on, but
Mhm.
you almost wish they had like a developer like that was small, like tight knit. You
Yeah.
know.
Do they have a lot going on though? I mean, like in terms of
The-
scale of like their projects, yeah, Call of Duty. They don't have Destiny anymore, and really that was like kind of done externally. But they have Overwatch, Call of Duty, Diablo, and like maybe a Spyro or Crash game. Like
Yeah.
it's
No,
not like
yeah.
they're Ubisoft
Well,
too.
I think King, right? Don't they own King?
Yeah, King as well. Yep.
I mean,
And they got
take
some
that for
layoffs,
what
too.
it's worth, but yeah, it doesn't seem like they're like the big powerhouse they once were. It doesn't feel like
Yeah.
any of them are. Like EA, Activision, like they all kind of suck right now.
Mm-hmm. Blizzard is not releasing a major release this year either. So, I mean, we didn't really expect them
Yeah.
to, right? But Diablo Immortal will come out, but that's it.
Yeah. Polygon wrote like, "Oh, we're not getting a Diablo in 2019." I was like, "All right,
Well,
like why?"
What'd you expect?
Yeah,
Not Overwatch 2, not
Stop
whatever.
reaching for those keywords.
Yeah, it's not gonna be a big year for them anyways. I mean, the only major release I can see them having this year, and just at Activision in general, is Call of Duty. I mean, unless they do, and there's probably not enough time for a new Crash game. They're doing that kart team racing remaster.
Oh yeah.
Right.
But that's it's not gonna bomb or anything, but it's gonna do decent numbers probably.
Mhm.
And I think there was a rumor that Spyro's coming to Switch too, that's good too, but like again, not gonna do huge numbers. So the only big release really is gonna be Call of Duty this year because they don't have a Destiny because Destiny's gone.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Call of Duty is kind of what they're banking on, and like you mentioned, they announced there will be a campaign this year, which furthers my belief that the Black Ops 4 campaign was a thing, and then it got scrapped, which was a rumor, but Treyarch seemed pretty adamant that never ever existed.
Oh, interesting.
From like the get-go, they were like, no, there was no multiplayer, or there was no campaign. But it seems like I don't know why they would take 1 year off and then go right into another one. It just doesn't make sense to me, especially because these Call of Duty games are in development for at least 3 years, right? So like
because they keep cycling between the studios. Right?
So if Activision would have told Treyarch, "Hey, don't make a campaign," then they probably would have sent that same message to Infinity Ward, since they would have been, on a similar development schedule, right?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make sense to me. Because campaigns aren't made in a year.
I'm actually kind of wondering what that means for. I mean, I'm assuming we moved on to this is kind of like a second news topic, right? That
Call of Duty
is having a campaign.
Yeah.
So I wonder what is going to happen to Blackout, because the whole thing with Blackout is that it's behind a paywall. You have to buy the game in order to play it. But it also doesn't seem like the kind of game mode that works as like a sequel. Like, are they just going to make that free and then?
Yeah, that's a really great question.
And that keeps perpetually existing alongside other Call of Duties, or that's just I don't understand how that's supposed to work.
They hang on, I gotta find the exact quote. But it said, have a large multiplayer mode and a new co-op experience. So, unclear if that means a new battle royale. I think when they initially were talking about Blackout before the game came out, Treyarch seemed like this was our creation. This is like our version of battle royale, Treyarch's version, rather than Call of Duty's version.
Oh boy.
Because that Blackout is kind of deeply rooted in Black Ops' lore. With, like, you're out of the ring, you see those numbers and stuff, and there's zombies and Black Ops characters. It doesn't go outside of the Black Ops realm. So you could definitely see like a new battle royale experience, or maybe they do just make it like its own standalone thing, and you could like combine it into one package where you have like a Blackout map, basically, you know what I'm saying, and then like a Modern Warfare map. Because there's been heavy rumors since around March or April last year that Modern Warfare 4 that's 2019's Call of Duty, because some of Respawn, like old Call of Duty veterans, went to Respawn, are now leaving Respawn and going back to Infinity Ward, and people are like, it's got to be Modern Warfare. It's got to be.
Interesting. Just real quick, touching back on what you said regarding how it could be like a differently themed battle royale for like whatever the next studio is, which is what, Treyarch, you said?
No, wait. This next one is Infinity Ward.
Oh, sorry. This year's is Infinity Ward. So like how Blackout basically is a mishmash of Treyarch's other games with zombies and stuff like that. So technically, the upcoming one could be a mishmash of Infinity Wards, but would it be as a separate game or under the Blackout banner? Because because even like the name Blackout, like that just fits in with Call of Duty Black Ops.
Yeah.
So like, do they have this figured out where it can kind of perpetually exist as like a separate game mode, or is it just gonna like go to the wayside once the new Call of Duty comes out and maybe they have a new battle royale mode? That's kind of what was confusing to me when they announced this in the beginning, because like putting a battle royale mode as part of a $60 package that also includes other modes, it seems so limiting, because you're basically asking people to pay to access, and also those people who maybe bought it physically and they traded in, you lose access forever, and you're forever losing those players unless they like rebuy it. That's why Apex Legends and Fortnite and all those free to play games have such a big advantage. So that I was just baffled that like they would decide to not make that like as a standalone free to play mode alongside of Call of Duty. But I also understand that they wanted to use it as a big selling point, because I'm pretty positive that their huge numbers from sales probably came from people being interested in playing a battle royale mode. But I just don't know. I'm just very curious to see where Blackout will be this time next year, or even November this year.
Yeah, you make a great point. The official quote from Bobby Kotick, the Activision CEO, is it's going to feature an entirely new campaign, a huge and expansive multiplayer world, and of course some fun co-op gameplay. So that sounds big.
When he says huge and expansive it could just mean what they're doing right now with their multiplayer suite, just a lot of game modes and stuff like that. And especially because their actual like deathmatch stuff, they always refer to that as multiplayer. I mean, that's what it's called on in the menus for Black Ops 4. But yeah, I guess huge and expansive are definitely two keywords to watch out for. So maybe he is hinting at something a little bit bigger than what they've done previously. But yep.
You would think they might say Battle Royale if they were going to do a Battle Royale.
That's true. Maybe they just don't want to like spill the beans too early. Like maybe they want to like keep that in their back pocket and be like, hey, we also got this.
Yeah. It's possible. I would be interested to see if they're doing something entirely new. I don't know what that would be. But obviously Call of Duty hasn't really done anything. I don't want to say they haven't because yeah. Because I was going to say they did like the futuristic movement, and then I realized, 2014 was the year they did that, and that was also the year Titanfall released. Not saying they copied that, because that's just not how development works, but they've kind of been like in this position where even if they're not directly copying someone, they aren't particularly doing the next big thing,
right?
Which they kind of were during the peak of Xbox 360 and PS3. Like they really pushed forward competitive multiplayer stuff with kill streaks and
which I still think are complete BS, by the way.
You do? You don't like kill streaks?
No, I hate kill streaks.
I love kill streaks. Not so much anymore.
They like help team steamroll. Points. Yeah, like a winning team is already just going to steamroll even more after they get a kill streak award. It's ridiculous.
I think it. Maybe you just suck, Mike. I don't know, but
I 100% suck. Definitely.
I just thought of a solution to this.
Okay.
What? Make it team-based kill streak rewards.
That would be cool.
Or
absolutely.
Team-based rewards, like when your team gets to a certain point, you get this as a team.
But come on, you can't disagree that if a team or a specific person is dominating the other team, that person then gets further rewarded with a thing that makes them dominate even more.
That's why they got rid of the nuke so fast.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, because it was only in Modern Warfare 2, and then they had a version of the nuke, like the Moab in Modern Warfare 3, which was you hit 25 or 30 kills, and then it drops a bomb that kills the entire enemy team, but it doesn't end the game.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Which is what the nuke did. I mean,
that's still super powerful, though.
Yeah, definitely. But,
all right, sorry, got a little sidetracked there, but
no, you're totally right. But
raging.
They do find ways to kind of improve the Call of Duty formula. Like you kind of mentioned it there in Modern Warfare 3, and they've even done it just to some degree in some of the other Call of Duties. But they had support kill streaks where you can choose to keep your kill streaks if you die, but your kill streaks usually they don't kill people. They're providing support for your team, like a UAV of some kind or ammo or something else. I think some of the really higher ones, if you do pretty well, do have AI that will go around killing people, but they've found ways to improve on their formula to some enjoyment to the players, some not. People didn't like the advanced movement. I kind of liked it, especially in Black Ops 3. I really liked it, but I know a lot of people just kind of rejected that. So I don't know. Call of Duty is in such an interesting place where people love to hate it, and I don't think Activision knows who to listen to because they're so many people hate it. The game's selling, but so many people just say they hate it. We don't know what to do. It's so confusing. I totally understand if they just are, baffled by what they're seeing. I wouldn't know what to do either. But also I don't run a huge studio, so what do I know?
And they might have been also confused initially because confused. They probably planned this. They had to have planned it because it just seemed too perfect not to have planned it. But like, they released the game without any microtransactions, and I mean, if you look at reviews across the board, everyone's praising the crap out of that game. And then as soon as the microtransactions hit and the scores are already locked into Metacritic and everything, everyone's like, wait a second, this is pretty scummy.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is about Activision's microtransactions is they're not Star Wars Battlefront 2 bad. Like they're usually just like skins and stuff.
So that is true.
But yeah, some of the
also
skins,
did see that you can buy a red dot site.
Yeah, that was
for
a little
$1.
bizarre.
What the hell?
It's like okay, you guys are kind of pushing it here. You're pushing your luck. They're really like one of the pioneers into really integrating like the loot box into, I don't want to say pioneers, but they really helped bring it in like to the mainstream. Like I think it was probably Advanced Warfare, I think, is when it happened. They were like, here's this thing, you can get different gun variants, and it was cool. And then they started charging for it, and then other companies noticed, hey, they're making a shitload of money, let's do that. Because it's like, correct me if I'm wrong, but like there were microtransactions for sure before that. Like GTA 5 had some.
Oh yeah. Microtransactions date all the way back to like
they go way back.
The like the spawning of the 360.
Sure.
I think the Skyrim horse armor was like the first like instance of that.
That was weird. Yeah. So I mean, like microtransactions have existed, but like loot boxes, that was like really put into like, especially the console mainstream with Advanced Warfare probably is where I remember it. I might be totally way off base on that, but that's when I remember really seeing it start to go on the upward tick there. But yeah, I love Call of Duty. I play it every year, and I'm excited to see that they're bringing campaign back, and that's kind of why I hope it is Modern Warfare 4. One of the former developers said earlier that Infinite Warfare 2 is most definitely not a thing that's going to happen, and they're on the record already from years past saying Ghost 2 is probably not going to happen. So I mean, unless they're going to really try another sub-franchise and strike out a third time in a row, possibly.
Yeah.
I think the safest route is Modern Warfare 4. That just seems like a no-brainer because it's what everyone has been asking for. And you bundle that with Modern Warfare 2 remastered, even just the campaign, people are going to go nuts.
Yeah.
So I think that is a no-brainer that's going to happen. I think I might have even heard that like they said that it's going to be a modern Call of Duty. So I mean, all the stars are aligning for it to be Modern Warfare 4. I am too.
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
I know Modern Warfare 3 kind of puts a nice little bow on that story, but you can do more with that. I mean,
yeah, definitely.
And like I said, I love Call of Duty, so I'll play it regardless. So we'll see what we should probably start. I mean, rumors usually start happening around this time of year, like actual leaks start happening. So I would say February, March, we'll start seeing some real leaks. And then April or May is when they reveal. Yeah. So we'll probably get the actual full-blown reveal. But we'll probably know what it is by March. So, so we'll keep following that as it happens, as it develops, and see what goes on from there.
Cool.
All right, you guys want to talk Sony?
Yeah.
Okay. So Sean Layden, I don't know his official title. He's not the head of PlayStation because they just announced who that was.
I think he's CEO of Worldwide Studios, right?
CEO of Worldwide Studios. That's it. Good job. Sean Layden, he's one of the guys that comes out on stage at E3 every year. He's a very nice looking man. He's been doing the rounds, I believe, because of DICE, big industry event, and he's been talking a lot about various different things with PlayStation. So one of the things he's talking about is crossplay, and he said one of the interesting things that came out of this was he was like, crossplay is easy. Developers just have to come to us and ask us to help them, get it working. And one of the developers on Reset Era came out and was like, actually, that's not true. We went and talked to Sony, and they told us no.
I was just gonna say, I'm pretty sure developers were already reaching out to Sony and wanting that. Like I remember, the Rocket League people, Psyonix. Yeah. Now crossplay actually does work between all systems, but I know like early on, they themselves said that like Sony were the ones that said, no, we're not supporting this. So yeah, I feel like they realized they messed up with that, so they're probably trying to save face now.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, like, this developer, this was recent. Like he made this game like recently. Yeah, and like I think you asked me if I wanted to review it. I forget what it was called.
Wargroove?
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Okay.
He was like, yeah, we tried to get crossplay for it, and they told us no. So, they're having some issues probably. I don't know what the deal with that is.
Interesting. I wonder if it also is based on the size of the game or size of the studio. Possibly. Because I know that's like a small indie game. I mean, albeit a really cool one, but like, but still, it's not like, like a AAA. It's not Fortnite, for example. Yeah. So,
some Game Informer asked him, what led you to the decision to back away from E3 in 2019? He says, we've been going to E3 since the beginning, which was 1995. I believe was the first E3 back in 1995, and PlayStation 1 was just out, and there were Sega Saturns, there was some Nintendo stuff going on, I'm sure. It really was a trade show focusing on retailers and the media. No general mission, just people in the industry. Retailers would come up and say things like, hi, I'm from Sears, and I'm the buyer. I'm in charge of Hot Wheels, Barbie, VHS, and video games, so what's this PlayStation thing I'm hearing about? And there's a huge educational component, talking to retailers, sharing what games were coming out and what products we had, all across the industry. Back then, you had actual magazines that were printed on paper. So it seems like they don't like the way E3's been going, and it's a little more fan-focused. And
so he wants it to be more like less consumer-based?
Yeah, he wants
more
to be more
business-based?
No, he wants to be more like Comic-Con. Like fan.
He does want it to be more fan-based.
I mean, there's no point for a business-based meeting anymore. Like,
but I thought E3 it was open to the public for like the last 2 years.
It is the last few years, but I imagine like it just made it like harder for them as like a company to. I don't know.
E3 needs to decide what it wants to be.
Yeah, you're right.
And why does a publisher need to, like, Nintendo's already proved you don't have to be there in terms of giving a big presentation.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they were still there. They had a huge booth.
Booths are fine because, if you treat it more like a fan convention where they get to come play our new games, get a first look or whatever. But, like, why June to announce big things like that, Like, you can announce Apex Legends was just announced last week and it has 25 million players. Like, you don't need the lead up anymore.
Yeah, 100%. Yes.
And you just drop the game and people will play it. It's like,
but maybe that's their strategy moving forward. Maybe they're like, well, we don't care to show our stuff at E3 because maybe we'll just show it or announce it whenever stuff is ready to announce. And maybe during E3 is not the time.
I don't know. Why do we have to see The Last of Us 2 like 5 years before they even have like anything?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've said this before. I think that is part of their charm, whereas I kind of like looking into like the far future of Sony and seeing what crazy stuff they're going to be cooking up and the stuff we're going to be playing. But partially it does suck that we've seen these games like for like 4 years straight now at E3, and some of them still don't have a release date.
Well, think of it this way. So like, let's say they announced The Last of Us at the press conference, okay? Would it have been any different if they just dropped the trailer online and you got to watch it online?
Oh, 100% no.
Yeah.
I mean, the only difference is you don't hear a crowd erupting in cheers. And like, I mean, like, I think.
Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong.
That's always exciting, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. Me and Matt we've both attended the E3 press conferences, and they are an absolute spectacle. Like,
yeah.
Like it is one thing to watch it like on your TV with like the best camera angles all the time, but it is another thing to like sit in that crowd and like the sound systems are booming all around you. Like you are feeling everything happening right then and there. So I 100% get, like, from a consumer and even a journalist standpoint, yeah, it's awesome to be there. But like Matt said, like, they can just throw up a trailer at any point and even, like, announce it, like, hey, by the way, check back here tomorrow at noon and there's going to be an exciting trailer. And I still think they would drum up just as much interest in it as they would showing it at an E3 press conference.
Now, so they used to do PlayStation Experience and they canceled that. But then I saw he mentioned something about Destination PlayStation.
Yeah, I saw that too. I think that might just be like a thing for them. Like, it's not press or anything. I think that might be like an internal, we bring all of the studios, we talk to what they have to say, and maybe even retailers, we show them what we got. But yeah, it sounded like that was like a kind of an exclusive thing to just PlayStation.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked PlayStation Experience. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
I wouldn't mind that, like, because then you're there with fans.
Yeah, but did they cancel it outright or just canceled it for 2018? They didn't say, right?
They didn't even say. I don't even think they ever said they were going to do one in 2018, and people just kind of expected that because they were doing it annually for like 2 years, and then they were just like, we're not having one this year. And
that's a shame because I think that one is only slightly more enjoyable, at least for me, because it's like E3 is awesome. Don't get me wrong, but it is just so hectic and chaotic.
Yeah.
And especially as part of the games media, where we have appointments, but we also want to, like, see games outside of those appointments, and it is just so crazy and hectic. And PSX was just, a single platform to worry about, so you had all the time in the world to, like, literally go around and check everything out. So that's kind of a bummer. And again, I think it also worked because that was also a fan convention. So, like, it was great for media to check stuff out and, populate their sites with content, but also, like, really hardcore PlayStation fans got it, like, a destination to attend every year. So it's definitely a bummer.
He also talked about multiplayer and how, like, this generation, you haven't seen a whole lot of Sony first-party multiplayer stuff, at least in terms of big stuff, because, like, you have God of War, you have Horizon, you have The Last of Us, you have Spider-Man, all single-player games, not even, like, a tacked-on multiplayer mode. So he said that they'll be looking to expand on that in the next term, which I assume means next generation. He says, but no, I was referencing more with things like GTA 5 Online, or you look at Call of Duty or Fortnite, or any of those experiences. Worldwide Studios, like I say, we've been going really heavy into story-driven gaming, the power of the narrative, big, spectacular experiences, but not a whole lot on the multiplayer side of things. I think that's an area where you will likely see us start to make more noise in the next term. I don't know what that means.
I mean, I'm one of those who really enjoys single player narratives, so
yeah, and it's working really well for them.
I loved all their first party stuff, so I'm all for them sticking to their guns and staying true to bring in good single player narrative experiences. But from that quote, it definitely seems like they wanna step up their multiplayer game a bit.
Yeah.
What was that first person shooter on PlayStation 3? That really big one.
Resistance or Killzone?
No,
the one with 256 players.
Yeah,
Mag. Yes, Mag.
Man, great game.
It's a random thought.
Well, I mean, it got me thinking about multiplayer.
Yeah, I guess was that Massive Studio? Was that the people who were doing Division, or am I remembering that wrong?
Hold on, let me look this up.
It was a Sony studio.
It was first Zipper Interactive.
That's who it was. They did SOCOM, right?
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, they made some missteps.
Wait, was it though? Was it a great game?
I mean, it received an award from the Guinness Book of World Records
for most players.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm sure it's got some accolades.
Do you guys know what MAG stands for?
No, hell no.
Massive Action Game?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it got solid scores.
Really?
Solid 76 out of 100 on Metacritic.
Okay. Well, I guess it's fine. Yeah, I mean.
Okay, well, Sony has never really had a good first-person multiplayer game, if you think about it. Like, they tried to put it in Uncharted, it sucked. They tried PlayStation All Stars. It sucked. Although I liked it, everyone else hated it. I didn't really like it. It was all right.
I liked it. Never mind.
I don't know.
Did you mean first, or did you just mean multiplayer in general?
Well,
You said
yeah.
first person multiplayer.
Sorry.
You meant first party multiplayer.
Yeah, first party multiplayer. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was gonna say even Killzone didn't really make any
Yeah.
waves, and that
Killzone
was like,
could be better.
yeah.
It definitely has like the fundamentals of making a good like multiplayer shooter. But it never quite got there. And I don't think Resistance ever had a multiplayer mode, did it? You guys know?
I'm actually not sure. I've barely played that game.
Okay.
Or that series as a whole, so I don't know.
I've only briefly touched it, and I want to play them, but they just gotta, you know what Sony needs to do? They just need to sit down, remaster a lot of the classic PS3 games, because they have a lot that many people haven't experienced, because people kind of didn't really, attach themselves to the PS3, right?
Yeah, and no backwards compatibility is hurting that.
Yeah, so like,
and there ain't no way I'm playing that on PS Now and paying $20 a month to play that.
And it's wonky sometimes with the latency and
no way.
The only PS Now game I ever played was a Barbie game, and
explain.
Well, I was doing an article for GameZone that never got released.
Womp womp.
I wonder why. Where I was trying to find backward compatible, just really bizarre PlayStation Now games. And maybe I'll go back and do this someday, because I did kind of like it. Where I was finding really weird stuff, because like it's almost like Netflix. You don't have to pay for the individual games, I don't think.
Maybe no. It's literally, you literally pick a game cool and it just starts. Yeah. The idea is cool. The concept is cool. It's just the execution and the pricing I don't like.
Yeah. So I played this Barbie game where she like rescued dogs or something, and you could like take care of them and raise them. And I was like, this game's kind of cute. It was very simple, but I was kind of like, you know what? They tried. There was something else too. There was a couple other things. You know what? One day I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna do more of that, because there's a good article in there somewhere.
Yeah.
That just means you're going to have to pay for PlayStation Now.
Ah, fuck, you're right. I'll find a way to expense it or something.
For science.
Yeah. I'll just say, hey, can I write this off? And they'll be like, you want to do what? You want to spend how much to play Barbie? Just trust me, okay? It's going to do big numbers. Speaking of PlayStation 3, this is probably the last thing we'll touch on with Sony. They talked about some things they learned from the PS3. And some of that was, for our business, the fall was sharp. We hadn't listened to our customers. We created a devilish development environment. We reacted too slowly, and our network was underdeveloped. And worst of all, if you remember, was the price point. Obviously, PlayStation 3, $600 out the gate.
Oh,
not good. You guys want to complain about the Xbox One being $500 at launch. Well, Sony tried to up that with an extra $100 and didn't even have a Kinect. So,
Yeah.
Well, the PlayStation 3 and our fight to stay relevant has been well covered. What wasn't as well covered was the call we made at the time to transform our company into what we are today. We doubled our efforts to develop incredible games and strengthened our partnership for the next generation. We listened to developers and gamers. We listened to this guy, Mark Cerny, creator of Knack. He created PS4, a console for developers, Knack 1 and 2. A console for developers as much as it was for fans. We focused on the quality of our games, on making titles that would stand the test of time the way the best pieces of art often do. And that's very true. Like, at the end of the PS3's life cycle, they were like, we gotta do something, because this isn't working. They had, 2010, they had Heavy Rain, which I think is a great game. I know some people like to hate Quantic Dream. I like Heavy Rain. Then, they were really ramping up Uncharted as a franchise. So they had Uncharted 2, Uncharted 3, The Last of Us, of course, God of War 3. What else? There was other stuff. I mean, they got there in the end, but it didn't. It wasn't. It might have been too late.
I was Xbox all throughout that cycle, but then at the end, what really got me was the end of the PS3, and they started releasing all these first-person games, and I was like, damn. And then I mean, the launch like that. Then I mean, obviously, PlayStation 4 has been tremendously better in terms of games.
Yeah.
But yeah, the end of the PS3 life cycle is really what kind of encouraged me to get a PS4 over an Xbox One.
They definitely figured it out, and I mean that's what he's saying. Like, you know, we figured it out. We messed up, and then, you know, they made the right decisions of focusing on really solid first party experiences. He also praised Microsoft for their adaptive controller, and Sony has also been kind of specifically Naughty Dog has been really making strides with accessibility in their games with better control options. And funnily enough, like, remember, I think it might have been The Last of Us Remastered, maybe it was Uncharted 4. They had like a bunch of different options, like QuickTime events. You could just press the QuickTime event button rather than mash it, or you could hold it. So you had like options like that.
Yeah,
I see that
God
all
of
the
War
time in
did that
games
as
now.
well now. Yeah.
God of War, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was playing Metro Exodus, and I was looking through the options, and that was an option in there. So like clearly they're making strides that are worthwhile to help people. So that's very important. But yeah, Layden also spoke of Nintendo, saying that people should never underestimate Nintendo, and that all of us are better for their efforts. So
that's cute.
Yeah, definitely. So interesting thoughts. There's lots more. Like, he did many interviews, and I'm sure there's probably more coming throughout the week. So you can find those on like GameZone, IGN, and some other websites. So, or not GameZone. We didn't interview them. I'm sorry. I wish I did.
Maybe you'll transcribe those interviews.
I'll probably transcribe them. Yes. So you can go and find those if you want. I think that's all we got for news.
Well, real quick, also let's mention that Division 2 open beta is coming March 1st.
March 1st.
Yeah.
March 1st through the 4th.
Right.
And you played the private beta, which you sort of liked, yeah? I actually really liked it.
Yeah, I really liked it. The Division is like one of those like MMO type games that I actually enjoy. Like I like.
And yet you're not excited for Anthem.
I'm not that excited for Anthem, especially after playing the beta. Like, I'll play it, I'm sure, but I'm kind of like, it's just not doing a whole lot for me. It just feels really repetitive. I think there's something about the Division with its like, it's a world I know, it's America, and it's like these big cities, like skyscrapers, super tall. You go into all these different various interiors. Everything looks different. Like, it's not super repetitive. When I play Anthem, it's like, I don't really know. Nothing about this feels distinct. It's just kind of like all grass and water and forest and stuff. That's just me.
Speaking of Anthem, Neil Blomkamp.
Oh yeah.
Dude, guy's coming out with a live action short on Valentine's Day, which I don't know when this podcast gets published, but
probably the day before that.
Yeah, it'll probably be tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, look forward to that because he directed District 9, Elysium, Chappie, and he was also going to make a Halo movie, and then that never happened.
It seems like he's very into these like sci-fi video gaming worlds, so I feel like he's the perfect fit for this.
He does a lot of like short films now with like special effects and stuff.
Did he do a Halo short film? I think he did, right?
Yeah, it was like test footage for Halo. Or it might have also even been a commercial. They might have used some of it for a Halo 3 commercial, I think. But he actually just shared a little anecdote on Twitter a few days ago because I think like the anniversary or something of that footage is coming up. He lost part of his like right ear because he was shooting in a warthog and an actual warthog, and like he like got jerked really hard or something, and like it sliced part of his ear off, and he got it like reattached, but. I'm like, well, that's a pretty awesome experience. Not many people can say they spilled blood making like Halo. So
that's true.
It's pretty badass. I would love to see his Halo movie. The script is out there if you guys want to see it, and you can go find it. It's online. So
That's cool.
Maybe one day we'll get that. We're still supposed to be getting a Gears of War movie. You guys remember that they announced that on like the Inside Xbox show or something? A few years ago
I keep forgetting whenever video game movies get announced because it's always like 5 years and nothing happens, and then it's like, oh, by the way, it's canceled.
I'm still waiting on the Call of Duty one.
That I don't know if you heard this. Apparently, they're already writing the sequel for that movie.
Where's the first one?
So I don't know. There must be
sense.
really confident in the first movie that's not even in production yet. So like,
the only movie that I believe is coming out is the Metal Gear movie, and that's because Jordan Vogt-Roberts got to play Death Stranding. So
Well, wait, what about Uncharted?
that seems
that's true. I guess
somewhat
that's
likely.
That's probably coming.
That
too,
movie is going to be a mess.
I would not surprise me. I don't know. I mean, they got Dan Trachtenberg, who did 10 Cloverfield Lane, that VR episode of Black Mirror, and he did a Portal short.
Yes, which was also really good.
Yeah, he was supposed to make a Portal movie with J.J. Abrams, and then, I mean, who knows what the fuck happened.
Lo and behold, canceled again.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how these. There's something about video game movies. It must be like something with like the creatives, like right, like not the rights, but like trying to get the permission of the actual creators to like sign off on something. I don't know. I can't imagine. It's just like you have like you can hire all these writers to make like a script or something. Like it can't be like this hard. Like I know making a movie is hard, but like it shouldn't take decades.
Yeah,
to get
but
these
also
movies off the
condensing
ground.
like a 20-hour game into a 2-hour experience is probably not that easy either.
That's true. I imagine something like Uncharted or Call of Duty might be, because like those are already pretty cinematic experiences.
That's true, yeah.
I mean, they did Assassin's Creed movie, is all right as it was. I mean, it wasn't anything great. I remember I reviewed that, and I thought the story was interesting, and I thought it's one of the better video game movies, but the action was absolute garbage. I don't know if you guys ever saw it.
I actually never did see it. And I'm a big Assassin's Creed fan, so that should tell you something.
Super shaky cam. Like, I couldn't ever tell what was happening in the action. I'm like, you guys should have made this rated R, because I don't know why. The games are rated M, just make it fucking R.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's a different story for a different day.
All right.
You guys want to talk Metro, Kingdom Hearts? What do you guys want to talk about?
I can say that Terra is, he's not a good guy in Birth by Sleep. Feel bad for him. Cade, do you know who Terra is?
I don't know what that means.
See, this is weird because you've played Kingdom Hearts.
I've played a Kingdom Hearts.
But you've played Kingdom Hearts 3, right?
He's
not fully finished, but I'm not gonna say.
Okay. Well, even if I did, I probably wouldn't even know.
He's just misguided, Matt. He's just misguided.
Okay, we'll see. Basically, yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna go play that now. So I'll let you guys talk.
Right.
Sounds good.
All right. I'm hopping off. See you guys.
All right.
See you. I'm only a few hours in, so I don't have like loads to say. So far, it's really interesting. It's more expansive than the first two games. The first two games are pretty linear, and then this one opens up a little bit more it's a lot more of it takes place outside. A lot of the first two games take place.
Would you describe it as a true open world or no?
Probably not.
No, interesting. Okay, so the outside world that you get to explore, is it more as a means to get from location to location, and the stuff in the middle doesn't really matter?
So the core mechanic of this game, like the big point, is everyone for the first two games, you live at, pretty much the lore of the series is they live in subway stations.
Right.
And
hence the name Metro makes sense.
Metro, yes. And in this game, they are trying to find out if anyone else is surviving outside of Moscow. And one day, you are venturing out, and you find a train, an active train, and you decide to board it. And you go adventuring the country and seeing what lies outside of Moscow. Are there survivors? Are there not? what's really going on. Maybe there's a big conspiracy. I won't say too much, but there's some really interesting stuff in play here. But yeah, the basically the train guides you from level to level, and then these levels are like mini open worlds.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So
that's cool. How's the gunplay?
It's good enough. It's very it's a very survival heavy game. So there's things like gun jamming and stuff, which some people might like, some people might not like. I've had my automatic gun jam up quite a few times, and it's getting kind of frustrating. But you can also clean your weapons, but I don't know how much that changes to like keeping it from jamming. I need to kind of play more to figure that out. But
there's a big gun customization element to the game, right? Like you build like add different parts to guns and stuff like that.
Yeah, so like upgrading and stuff is a big portion of it. Like you can upgrade your gas mask and repair it, because your gas mask can get shot and then it'll leak in air, and that's really bad. And you gotta change your air filters and stuff. So you duct tape your gas mask if it gets shot, and then you can also take it to a workbench and repair it. And then you can customize your guns by either I think crafting. I haven't gotten far enough to like actually craft an actual attachment. I assume that'll happen.
Okay.
But you can also find other weapons in the environment, and then you can take their attachments off of them and then put them on your gun, which is really cool. Yeah.
Are there other survival elements like sustenance and stuff like that? Like, do you need to eat or drink, or is that not that kind of game?
No. It's not that intense. It's mostly just being aware of your surroundings and the items that you do have. Like ammo is kind of conservative. It's been 6 years since the last Metro game, and I haven't played them since like they came out. But if I'm remembering correctly, bullets are a currency, but I don't remember if the bullets are like separate from the bullets that you use in your guns, or if you have to make a decision on whether or not you spend bullets and risk losing ammo to buy new guns and stuff like that. I can't remember if that was a portion of it, but I need to, like I said, I need to play more of the Metro Exodus. But the issues in the game lie mostly from a technical perspective. It gets the FPS dips a little bit when, I don't even want to say a little bit, it's quite a bit when you're in combat or in like really chaotic scenarios. It's not like god awful, but it is noticeable and can really chug and be a little slower.
For reference, what console you playing on?
A PS4 Slim. But I also heard that someone playing on an Xbox One was having similar issues when there was smoke on the screen.
Interesting. So, I wonder if the Pro and the X would have similar issues or not.
I do wonder that as well. And then another thing is the audio in the game is really bizarre. So like I think it's a problem with the audio mixing, where some characters will be like, 10 feet away from you, standing across on the other side of the room talking to you, and it'll sound like they're really far away, or like there's like 3D audio. You know how like if you're playing a game, you have 3D audio, and your character turns right, you'll only hear them out of your left ear, and
right,
yes. Faint. It kind of sounds like that, but even when it's coming through my TV speakers and stuff like that, it's really weird, and like it just doesn't always sound right, even when you're looking dead on at them. Sometimes it sounds good, sometimes it just sounds like really not great. And there's been times where in a cutscene, audio will purposely overlap, like there will be multiple characters talking, and but it's very obvious that they were all recorded at different times. So like everyone's like kind of unnaturally unsunk, and it sounds off. Like there was a part at the very start of the game, you wake up and you go and you kind of like walk into this like commons area, and you meet your girlfriend or maybe she's your wife. I don't remember how the last game ended. I mean, who cares if they're married? It's not like they had a big ceremony or anything. It's the apocalypse.
Yeah.
You go and see her, and then a couple of your like buddies who are like Spartan Rangers come out, and they're like, hey, and then they're all talking to you at once, but they're all having like different sentences, and you're like, what are you all saying? And it's not supposed to be like mixed together. Like it's hard to describe, but if like the audio mixing was good, it would sound like they were all pushed together, so you couldn't purposely understand what they're saying, but like you can hear just enough of what everyone is saying.
Oh, gotcha.
It's like it hurts my head to listen to, and it just sounds really unnatural, and it doesn't sound right. But those are really the only big issues I have with it right now. Everything else is pretty solid. Cool. There's also like new ways of traversing. Like once you get off the train and explore new areas, like first area you come across is like there's a lot of water, so there's a boat that you have to row, and you'll be rowing a boat, and then you'll see stuff moving around on the ground to the side of you, and then you'll see it crawl into the water, and you're like, oh fuck. Like that's gonna come up and get me. And then sometimes maybe it doesn't, maybe it just kind of watches you and preys on you.
Oh dear.
And then you'll be rowing back, and like, all right, maybe I'm all right, and then it'll lunge back at you, and just like you'll have to fight it on the boat while you're still rowing or something. It's terrifying.
Man,
the
okay.
game has great atmosphere.
I was literally just gonna say, so atmospherically it sounds amazing.
Yeah, I mean, like these games have done such a great job of being very creepy. Like you'll always hear sounds, and you're like, what the hell is that? Is that like actually like real, or is that just like extra sound effects? You know?
Mm-hmm, gotcha.
And I came across this like church of people, and I had to row my boat inside of it through like the middle of it, and then I parked it, and they're like super religious, and they're all against technology and guns and stuff, and they're like, you're a Satan worshiper because you have guns and armor. I'm like, oh, these guys are kind of loonies. And there's just a lot of interesting world stuff. I really love the world of Metro, and it looks like they're going to be doing a great job of continuing to expand it in this game. I'll have much more to say about it next week, and a review up hopefully by the end of the week.
Very cool.
So,
all right,
Kingdom
and then
Hearts
the 3. Next big game, yep, Kingdom Hearts 3, which you have not beaten yet, but I think you're close.
I'm pretty close, yeah.
I mean, I guess we should issue a spoiler warning, because I'm pretty sure we're gonna hit on some things that are probably spoilery.
Sure.
But I guess let me hear your impressions first so far from this game, because you're the Kingdom Hearts newbie. You've literally come into this game completely blind. You haven't even watched any of the recaps in the game. So how is your experience playing this?
Fucking so confused.
All right. Okay. All right. So story-wise, yes. What about gameplay-wise?
All right. Gameplay is really interesting, right? Because like the core gameplay is a lot of just mashing X. And,
yes, yeah, it actually is very much a button masher.
Yeah, and it's not like you're mashing multiple buttons. It is one button, really. Mm-hmm. I mean, like
with the occasional triangle button here and there.
Yeah. Like it's very interesting. Let me pull up my notes that I have. I wrote down some notes on what I was really thinking about the combat. I thought for the most part, it flows pretty well. I get a little bored during the longer encounters because I'm just kind of like, I'm just hitting X, you know. I just kind of want to move on, and then enemies keep respawning or something, and it just gets a little tedious. I
will say, like on that real quick, I will say that at least the good thing with this game specifically is that they try to keep the combat interesting by making a lot of weird stuff happen, like with you being able to summon like the rides and stuff like that. And, or like your Keyblade form changes, and that's always like some sort of big power up. So like keep in mind, like that stuff is relatively new to the series.
Okay.
So if you didn't like, if you're kind of thinking this combat is monotonous, man, try playing like the original Kingdom Hearts. That's literally all just Keyblade swinging and none of that extra cool stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of the fun comes from summoning the like blaster ride where you're on like a little cart and shooting stuff, or you get
the carousel.
carousel or teacups or something really crazy, or summoning your Keyblade ability and just going ham on some guys. It's like when you really and luckily those things happen frequently. Like that is definitely like they were very keen on not having this be like a really special ability. You know what I mean? It's special,
Yep.
but it's not like rare.
Yeah.
They want it to be a thing that you do multiple times in one combat scenario.
Now, with that said, I want to say, I don't know how long into the game, but at some point I did go in and turn off all those Keyblade change animations off, only because it was happening so much.
Yeah.
That like it was just breaking up the combat. Like way too frequently. So I turned those off, and I also turned off the ability for those auto finishers to happen, because you switch your Keyblade to its second form and you'd win the battle, and then you'd be walking around with that bar still going down, and all of a sudden you'd like summon this crazy attack, but when you don't need to. So stuff like that is like kind of kooky, but overall, I think it's just meant to be a spectacle, and I think they did a pretty good job on that.
And some of the scope and scale of some of the battles, like the one that really sold me on this game being fucking bananas was in the first level when you're on like Mount Olympus, not the final
Titans?
boss battle. Yeah, the Titan, the first Titan that you fight, I think you get on a roller coaster.
Yes,
and it's not attached to anything, and it's just flying, and you're just shooting it. I'm like, this game is insane, but it is so fun. Like, I was like, this is weird, and I love it because it just doesn't care. It doesn't make sense that this roller coaster is here, but everyone seems to be having a good time. Sora, Goofy, Donald, they don't. Do they understand like what's going on? Or are they just kind of like fucking? They just go.
No. They are fully aware of what's going on. They just accept it. They just totally ride with like anything crazy that's happening, even though they've literally never summoned like a ride as a summon before, and it just sort of happens. They're like, all right, we'll roll with it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Do they know what an amusement park is? Are they aware of Disney World? Like, because
so no, like the world of Kingdom Hearts is obviously very detached from this. So, and even the way they treat each like Disney world is weird, because I guess they're sort of like different planets in that universe.
Yeah.
Which you traverse with the gummy ship. Which by the way, what are your thoughts on the gummy ship? Do you hate it or
the
like
gummy
it?
ship, man?
Oh, you don't like it?
No.
Wow.
Oh my
okay.
God. Oh.
I actually love the gummy ship segment in this game, but that's also because it's gone through numerous revisions. In the first game, it was literally an on rails shooter, kind of like Star Fox.
I feel like I would have preferred that.
But it was very slow. And then the second game, they like ramped it up, and it was a lot more flashy, but still on rails. And then this one, they just went full open map. Just go wherever you want, fight bosses, do little trials, and I liked that. I thought it was cool. Did you build your own gummy ship, or did you stick with the original?
I got really confused with the editor, so I just took a default one because I was like, the editor was like really like finicky. You know what I mean?
It's just blocks on blocks. It's Legos.
Yeah, kinda. And then
I don't want to brag,
the
but
cockpit.
But I made an X-wing for mine, and 2 TIE fighters as the little tiny ships, and it was awesome. I saw that.
Yeah. I tried to put a dog as my cockpit, and the game told me no. So I was like, just fuck this. I'm just gonna go back to being the default one. So
hilarious.
I'm sure there's, if I was really like dead set on making something, I would. But I'm also just like a really not creative person when it comes to building stuff. I never got into Legos as a kid. I'm creatively bankrupt with like building. Like writing and stuff, I get it, but like building, I'm like, oh, what do I do? There's so many opportunities, I just don't know what to do.
Have you at least upgraded that ship at all? Like, have you added more guns to it and stuff like that? Yeah. Okay, so that's good.
Yeah. There was a boss battle, and maybe I was doing it wrong, but there was a boss battle that lasted 8 minutes, and then I just canceled it because I didn't have time. I didn't have the patience for it because it wasn't killing me. It was just me shooting for 8 minutes. And I think it was because I wasn't hitting the specific spot, and I didn't realize it until later. Because some of those things, like, you can shoot it, but like there are only specific points on it that get damaged.
Yeah, you're talking
to its actual health bar.
Do you remember which gummy boss ship that was, or gummy
it was
ship
just
boss?
like a random encounter. So like,
okay.
I don't know. It wasn't like one of those ones that leads you into the next world.
Interesting.
So,
okay.
I just got really frustrated and just left because I thought it was a waste of time. But like largely, they usually take 2 or 3 minutes to do when you're doing them right.
Even faster when you have like
Yeah.
a really upgraded chip. Like I do insane damage on mine. So like I blow through those bosses in like a minute.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
I guess I haven't really like I upgraded a couple times and then I was just like I don't really feel the need to anymore. So maybe I will go back and upgrade it some more. But I kind of just get annoyed whenever I see a boss encounter. I'm just like, God, get it over with. I mean, and then flying's a bit slow when I'm just trying to get to the other side of the galaxy thing. Is it space? Is it supposed to be space?
I think it's supposed to be space. Yeah, I don't really still
the
understand
fact that I'm
that
questioning it is like it's really weird.
I mean, once you've been to a location, you can always fast travel to it. You don't have to always
that's
fly
nice.
Back. Yeah,
that's nice. I was a little disappointed. I thought this is just me setting my own expectations before I played this game. I thought the worlds were going to be a little more vast and there was going to be more to explore. They're very linear.
I 100% agree. And I think that was actually one of my initial disappointments with especially the first, like even Mount Olympus, which is Hercules, like granted it was like the first time you go there it's very like war torn and stuff is happening, but like even then like it just seemed very empty-ish. And then man, Toy Story World was like the ultimate letdown. Like
I was really sad.
Like, and I get plot wise they were like in like some sort of alternate Toy Story universe where Andy doesn't exist and like half the toys are gone, but it just made it feel so like just empty and boring. And which is
especially at Toy Store.
Yeah, and I was worried that this was going to be like a running theme throughout the game, but then I get to Kingdom of Corona, which is Tangled.
Yes.
And you get to that little town and it's amazing. Awesome. There's like people everywhere, people are dancing, there's a dancing mini game. Like
I love that.
That was such a really nice 180 for me because I was like, oh, okay, good. So there is like a lot of care and attention put into these places, and the first one was just, I guess, a fluke. And it's true, like most of the worlds after that feel pretty fine for the most part. What's the last world you've been to? Pirates, okay. And that one's actually kind of interesting because that one totally switches it up on you and lets you actually like explore the ocean on a boat, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I was really disappointed by Twilight Town because I was like, oh, this is going to be like the hub world. You go here and there's lots to see, lots to do. It's like, no, it's like
2 major areas and that's it. Yeah. And they're small.
And like those major areas, nothing to do in them. Like you have the shop that you can find 50 different places in one world. And you have Ratatouille, what's his name? Remy. His little
bistro,
Yeah. And let's talk about the cookie mini game while we're here.
Not great.
That is very basic. Literally,
I was not good at all.
I was like, oh, I'm gonna make a cake or something, and it was like, all right, crack the eggs, and your cake's made. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah. Very disappointing. I mean, I get that they didn't want to like bog people down with like a long mini game, but it was too basic, I feel like.
Yeah.
But Twilight Town in general, like, so that's been in Kingdom Hearts 2. It was not the world in Kingdom Hearts 1. In 1 it was Traverse Town, but basically it was kind of similar in theme. But in those games, like, they were much bigger places to explore. Even in the second one, like it consisted of multiple areas you could run through. So it was very weird that this was basically just like the town square and then the mansion and that's it, with like a small forest connecting the two.
Yeah, I like how that there's like a movie always playing. That's kind of cool.
That is cool. Yeah. I really wish
that
they would have actually showed like classic Mickey cartoons there instead of like the little.
That's what I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, instead of like because it shows you like the little mini games that you can get, which I guess that's kind of cool, but
Those mini games aren't very good.
No. Like, again, like, this is a next gen game. Like, you're telling me they couldn't made like cooler mini games for this? Like, they had to go like old school LCD. Like
they wanted like quantity over quality in terms of mini games, because like you play those and you're like, yeah, this is fun the first 3 rounds, and then you play more and you're like, okay, I'm done. I'm not gonna play any more of these.
And then I guess my only other not really a big disappointment, but just something that I definitely kept mindful of as I was playing was that like a lot of the actors, and actually it's funny, Kotaku
I was just about to ask you.
Yeah, Kotaku ran an article today saying that like just over half the people were the actual Disney, like the actors that
really?
were like, yes. So and it was funny because whenever I like, Toy Story was the first place where I noticed it, and I was like, man, this sounds like Woody and Buzz, but not completely like Woody and Buzz. Let me check the IMDb.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it was neither. I mean, I think it was Tom Hanks' brother.
His brother.
That's interesting. But definitely not Tim Allen for Buzz. And then for Monstropolis, also not Billy Crystal and John Goodman.
I said it sounded like an Italian mobster trying to do an impression of Mike Wazowski.
Yes. So that was like a little bit disappointing. And then even like in Mount Olympus, when you first when like Meg rides in on the horse, right, with Phil in the back, and
not sound like him.
But also Phil doesn't say a single word, and he's like one of the most talkative people in the cartoon. What, they couldn't even get like a Danny DeVito sound alike? Like, what happened?
I don't know. They got James Woods back.
They did, yes. So. And the funny thing is, I was convinced that also wasn't James Woods. So like,
really?
I feel like he also wasn't bringing his A game when he was recording those lines, but it was him. It was, sure enough.
Yeah, I thought his acting was good, but maybe it doesn't always sound like it. It just might be old age, right?
It could be.
Yeah.
But a lot of the other ones, like for the Frozen World, I believe it was the entire cast was that. Yeah. For Tangled, it was only Zachary Levi. It actually was not Mandy Moore, but the girl that they got sounded a lot like her.
Very close. Yeah.
So I mean, they did pretty good, but it was noticeable, like especially Monstropolis. Like I was like, man, this is not Mike Wazowski or Sully.
Yeah, what the Johnny Depp guy is not the greatest.
He tried though, bless his heart.
Yeah, he definitely tried. Yeah, I mean, like it's not the hardest thing to do a Jack Sparrow impression.
Pirates of the Caribbean. Speaking of. Elizabeth Swann. Jesus Christ.
Holy shit. Does not sound like Keira Knightley at all.
No, they were like, let's just get a woman who speaks British.
It's a woman.
She can be Elizabeth Swann. Oh my God.
Honestly, they might as well have just gotten a man to do it, because they just didn't try.
No, that one was definitely the worst performance of them all.
I was dumbfounded when I heard her talk. I was like, holy shit, because like a few nights before that, I don't even know why, but I was watching a Keira Knightley interview. I don't follow her at all, but like it was in my YouTube recommended, and I was listening to her. I'm like,
and she has a very distinct voice too. Like
she does.
You know,
and that's
when
why
it's
I remembered
her talking.
it. Yeah. So then I was like, she kind of sounds and also looks a little bit like Daisy Ridley.
Yes, 100%.
So that's why it was such a jarring shock to me.
Yeah.
I heard her. Now, when they go to the pirates' world, seems like there's a history there.
Yes. So that is a repeated world from Kingdom Hearts 2. The only other repeated world is Mount Olympus.
Oh, really?
All the other ones are original.
I thought Winnie the...
Winnie the Pooh,
right?
yes.
Yeah, okay.
So technically, because that one's always kind of like a mini game world. Yeah, so that one does repeat, but yes, all the other ones are specifically new, and that's because they're all Pixar movies.
Yeah,
which they really didn't do in the older ones, and I think that's because this art style lends itself better to Pixar. Which is why I also think I didn't really like Mount Olympus, because I don't think those characters look good in 3D. Whereas like the old Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2 art style, I think lent itself very well to those 2D animated movies. Which I would also argue is a testament to that art style in general, because even in the 1.5 and 2.5 remix, like I almost prefer it to what Kingdom Hearts 3 looks like, to be honest. And I'm not saying that it's just like nostalgia playing, because I literally like watched through 122 episode recap of the entire storyline, so it's like fresh on my mind. But I think I just like the art style of 1 and 2, because everything was very stylized, whereas now, like especially like Donald and Goofy, like I don't need to see a hyper realistic Donald or Goofy. I think that's freaking weird. Okay, and like Organization 13 and their weird hairstyles, I don't think translate very well into like Unreal Engine. So stuff like that was like bothering me. But I mean, obviously it didn't make or break the game for me. I still enjoyed it just fine. But like it's little things like that irked me a little bit. But in terms of storyline, so you didn't beat it yet, but in a short summary, can you explain to me what is happening in this game?
Fuck. Oh man, I wish.
To the best of your knowledge, to the best of your power.
All right, let me start. Okay, so Sora has someone trapped inside of his heart, Roxas.
Okay.
Does that sound right?
That's right. Okay.
And they're trying to get him out so they can separate him as one entity, or as individual entities. But then these two other guys showed up who look alike, and they were like, "Don't do that, you'll die." And they're like, "But you did it." And they're like, "Fuck, we gotta go." And they left.
All right. Okay.
And then there's always a anime guy at the end of every level who shows up and tells you some earth-shattering revelation, and I'm not always sure of what they're talking about, because it seems like it's just characters from other games, and I'm like, I haven't seen that guy yet, so I don't know who that is.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's some guy and some girl training, and I think I was blowing my nose when it happened, because I got a nosebleed, and then he started to have a nosebleed, I think. I don't know.
Lee, the redhead guy?
Yeah, I think so.
No, I don't think he had a nosebleed, but he was during that cutscene, because she reminds him of someone else.
Okay.
Yeah, so he kept like staring at her because she reminds him of someone else, but he does not remember who that person is, because Kingdom Hearts.
Okay, interesting.
Yes.
And the organization eventually gets everything they need to do whatever evil thing they're trying to do, and they tell Sora, and he's like, "Why would you tell me that?" And they're like, "Oops, gotta go." And then they teleport to some like desert where they're having an evil meeting on some pillars. And then they're talking shit about some other guy, and he shows up and he's like, "You talking shit?" And they're like, "You were listening." And then Randall from Monsters Inc. Randall from Monsters Inc. was in on the organization, and then
this would be really funny drunk.
Games are so weird.
Holy moly. I mean your recap is sort of spot on.
Like, what is their plan? Their evil plan?
Well, they ultimately want to unlock Kingdom Hearts, or at least the main guy wants to unlock Kingdom Hearts, and that's like, according to the bad guys, that's where like all the darkness can come from. But of course, according to the good guys, that's where all the light comes from. So I think it changes depending on who's doing the unlocking of the Kingdom Hearts. And whether they succeed or not, I can't tell you, because you do find out. And the ending, like the whole like ending sequence, passed after you beat San Francisco, which I think might be after Pirates.
It is.
Yeah. That whole stretch is pretty cool. It is also kind of confusing, and it'll definitely be confusing for you since you have no prior knowledge to any other games. But it is a cool sequence regardless. It's a lot of cool battles and stuff like that.
All right. Cool.
But yeah, okay. So it seems like you got a firm grasp on Kingdom Hearts 3. Congratulations.
So their goal is they don't have like anything super contrived. It's just like we want to do bad things.
Yeah, pretty much. Because Organization 13, at least in Kingdom Hearts 2, was all about them trying to get unlock Kingdom Hearts so they themselves could get hearts. Because the whole thing with the organization is that they're beings called nobodies, which are basically alternate versions of people who have died. So like when you die, you lose your heart and you become a heartless and you become a nobody, basically two different entities.
So that's why when Sora dies, his heart pops out, right?
Yes, exactly. Cool. And the whole thing with nobodies and stuff like that is that once you defeat a nobody and the heartless, those two can recombine and become the person again.
Interesting. So why don't they just let you kill them?
Because they don't want to be. Well, actually, you know what? I don't know if they realize that happens until it actually does. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that might not be to their knowledge until it's actually happening.
All right, that makes sense then.
Yeah. And also they consider themselves like when they are the nobodies, like I think they consider themselves as like separate entities that want to exist. And I think if they let themselves die and, you know, rejoin with their hearts or whatever, they would be losing that sense of self, and they want to preserve that sense of self, if that makes sense.
It's kind of like when a ghost possesses a person, they don't want to let go.
It's kind of, sort of, yeah.
Sort of, yeah. Man, wacky stuff.
It is really wacky. Well, and let me tell you, like, so I've played most of the games. I didn't play all of them through to completion. But like the main ones I've played, obviously, and then I've played Birth by Sleep. I didn't play all of 358/2, which is the DS game. I definitely did not play all the way through Dream Drop Distance and stuff like that. So I made it a personal quest to watch a YouTube series of 122 episodes in double speed, mind you. So I kind of rushed through it, but
conservative.
Yeah, 122 episodes in double speed to basically recap in chronological order the entirety of the Kingdom Hearts lore of the story from start to finish, and it is not necessary by any means, but it is just so rewarding to know all of it, because this game 3 literally gives a callback to every single game that came before it, like literally every single one, even Kingdom Hearts Recoded, which is by far the most pointless game in the series that doesn't do anything to really further the story whatsoever, but there is a nod to a certain element from that game in Kingdom Hearts 3. And if you know it, it's like, oh, hey, cool, it's that thing that was in that game that didn't really matter, but it's cool because it's here now. And especially the characters and stuff like that. So, like, to you, Roxas is, like, you don't know who that is. But for people like me who have played through Kingdom Hearts 2, and then also, now that I've actually watched 358/2, I've, like, become really attached to that character. So seeing that, like, storyline kind of resolve in 3 was awesome. So that's kind of why I feel like you're not going to get the full experience that you should be getting, because technically all the games are available for you to play on the PS4. Granted, that's a huge time sink.
Yes.
But I feel like a part of that charm of that series is going to be lost on you because you don't have that full familiarity with it. Like, you're going to be like, oh man, I just went through all these Disney worlds and a whole bunch of anime characters fought together. But I beat it, and that's cool. I can say that I beat it. Whereas me, I'm like, I've literally experienced this journey from start to finish, and my God, what a finish.
Yeah. I can already tell it's going to be like that for me, because I've seen some people react on Twitter to, like, the ending, and I don't know what it is, obviously, but they're very emotional about it to whether that's sadness or happiness, I don't even know, but it's like yeah, I know I'm not going to be feeling that. I'm probably just going to be like, oh, that was interesting.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm sure that is going to be great for the fans, and I'm interested to see how much I comprehend by the end and how much this stands on its own. Right now, I I don't think it stands on its own very well as a story thing.
I agree. It definitely does not. It definitely does not. And even if you watch the short 2-minute recaps, of which I think there are 5 or 6, I don't even think those give you ample amount of information to really catch yourself up on what's going on. So yeah, I think this game is specifically made for Kingdom Hearts fans who have literally been there from day one and have played most of the games, or at least the core games, and are now seeing it through to completion.
That's why I was very keen on reviewing it this way, because as we've already mentioned, this game series not available on Xbox prior to Kingdom Hearts 3.
Right.
So I was like, I should probably see if I can review it like this, and I imagine the sales numbers on the Xbox version are going to be very low.
Pretty low, yeah. I agree.
Yeah. And I really don't know why they did not release those first 2 packages on Xbox. I can't imagine.
I mean,
it was
maybe
a Sony
some sort
deal.
of licensing deal. I don't know. Because it was only on the PS2 originally with all the spin-offs on different systems. But yeah, it is very weird. But with that said, and granted, I know you play a whole lot of games and stuff like that. So me recommending you to go back and actually, if it's ever on sale, to actually play the 1.5 and 2.5 remix. Just so you can get the full story, because they are good games. Granted, some of them feel a little more antiquated now, but especially Kingdom Hearts 1. But I still think they hold up. And back when they released, they were definitely revolutionary with what they were doing. But yeah, if you ever are itching to learn more backstory on Kingdom Hearts 3,
I feel like I have to now.
Then I feel like they're definitely worth to play through.
Yeah, if I don't play through them, I'll definitely watch it all.
Yeah, definitely, definitely worth it.
Because now I feel like I'm in so deep that I gotta know whether I care or not. I just feel like I need to have some sort of closure, because there's a lot going on here, and I do appreciate the amount of care put into it by Nomura.
Yeah, for sure.
And he clearly cares a lot, and he's very passionate about making these games and probably pleasing the fans because they've waited so long. But it's a very interesting series, and I don't know if there's many other like it.
No, yeah, it's definitely odd.
Yeah. I know there's other games with convoluted stories and stuff, but this one is
well, I think it's also
specific.
I think it's also A, ballsy, but B, slightly genius, because I think when they made the first game, I'm pretty sure I don't know if they had plans for any sort of follow up.
Does it have a definitive ending, or is there some loose threads?
I mean, not it does it not really. So it does end in a way where they sort of leave it kind of open-ish. But if there never was another game, I don't know if that would matter. I don't know. Maybe there was a plan all along, but if you follow the story from start to finish, you'll definitely notice some weird retconny stuff, which is why I think there wasn't a definitive plan for this story to be as interconnected as it actually is. But that's also why I think Kingdom Hearts 3 is so genius, is because it, like I said, it literally gives a callback or reference to every single game, even the browser games that were.
Wait, browser games?
Yeah, there's a browser game and a mobile game you can actually play right now called Kingdom Hearts Union, and those two are the ultimate prequels to the story, taking place I don't know, hundreds, thousands of years before all this. Maybe not that long. Maybe I'm over exaggerating, but it's definitely like the origins of the entire Kingdom Hearts timeline, and those are important apparently.
That is wild.
Yeah.
Now, one question I've had throughout all of this is, so in the cartoons of Mickey Mouse and stuff, he's from like a town like on, I don't know if you'd call it Earth, but it is like supposed to be like the animal equivalent of Earth or whatever, right? There's a civilization of animals and mice and stuff, and does Kingdom Hearts Mickey come from all of that? Did he like teleport there? What's the...
It doesn't really touch on that at all. Up. The only callback to Mickey's past is in Kingdom Hearts 2. In Kingdom Hearts 2, you go into a like Steamboat Willie inspired world, which is all like black and white, and the sound is like very like old schooly, and it's awesome. It's an amazing world, and I think he even references, like this is where I was before I was king, or some sort of like callback like that. But so I guess technically it does answer where he came from, if that's what you're into.
So maybe it's like his origin is like Steamboat Willie Mickey, but not like House of Mouse Mickey.
Right. Yes.
Okay. All right. I guess that makes sense. Is Minnie Mouse ever addressed in these games?
She is. She's actually, you do see her in this once, but I mean, she's a very minor character, but she is his queen. Yes.
Okay. Oh, well, that makes sense.
Yes.
She is his queen.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm sure I'll have more questions when I finish this.
Yeah, and we're also gonna obviously wait for Matt to finish because he's going through all the games right now. So then we can do like a full on Kingdom Hearts 3 deep dive. But the one thing I will also mention that was a little bit disappointing was that like originally Kingdom Hearts was based on this whole marriage of like Disney and Final Fantasy, right? Yes. There's zero Final Fantasy in this game.
Yeah, like
there's Moogles. Those are like the shopkeepers, but like no Final Fantasy characters at all. None.
Yeah. The closest it got, and I thought it was Final Fantasy when it started, was that Toy Story 3 intro cutscene with the fake video game.
Oh my God! Yes. Okay. When that started, I was like, "Wait a second. Are we good? Is like Noctis in this game? Is this like a Final Fantasy 15 reference?" But not. Yeah, it wasn't. But it
was like it looks like Final Fantasy, but it is whatever else they call it. I don't even remember.
Yeah,
that really generic name.
That really confused me for a second. And I was actually really excited. I was like, "Oh my God! Is this like a Final Fantasy world we get to go into?"
Yeah.
But nah. But yeah, no Final Fantasy characters, which is a very big shame, and I wonder why that was.
Yeah, I wonder if they were just like, well, we've got so many Pixar things, like, do we need to do Final Fantasy?
Well, because Final Fantasies were never like worlds; they were always just like side characters, like that you'd meet in like the hub towns, like I said, Traverse Town and even Twilight Town. So that's where they all sort of lived, because those were like refuges for lost characters that lost their worlds. So maybe all the Final Fantasy characters got their worlds back, and now they're gone. I don't know. It was disappointing, definitely, because that was definitely one of the cool selling points originally was Square Enix and Disney working together, and they merged their biggest franchises together, and Kingdom Hearts 3 sadly abandons that. But like in the grand scheme of things, again, not a deal breaker, but just something that was slightly disappointing.
You heard it here first. Kingdom Hearts 3 disappoints its fans.
Well, at least hardcore Final Fantasy fans like myself.
That's fair.
But I mean that's all I pretty much have to say about that for right now. Before you finish it, because I don't want to. I would love to discuss the ending parts of the game, but I don't want to ruin that for you.
Did you see the secret ending?
I did.
Okay.
And it is interesting.
Is that essential?
It is not essential. You are 100% not going to know what you are watching.
Okay.
Like you might as well. I mean, if you never see that scene, it won't matter to you, because it is.
Okay.
You're going to have no frame of reference to what it's even talking about. And again, that's part of the rewarding fans who have literally consumed every piece of media. But it's interesting. and I like the implications of that secret ending, and I think it just means that Kingdom Hearts as a franchise is not quite done, which is cool. But
is it like the Thanos at the end of Avengers 1, where if you don't know anything about Marvel, really, you're not gonna get it, but like if you know about Marvel, you're gonna lose your shit?
I'm not sure that I 100% get your analogy, but maybe.
Did you see Avengers 1?
Oh, you're saying like if I didn't know who Thanos was at the end of Avengers 1?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Then yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because you know what? I was one of those people who didn't know who Thanos was, and then
I'm sure a lot of people were.
Once I figured it out, I was like, oh man, okay, that's actually kind of big. So yes. I guess I can equate that for sure.
Alrighty. Well, I don't think much else to say on that.
Yeah, this was a long one.
Yeah. Probably a shorter episode next week, I imagine, because nothing. Oh, maybe not. We're gonna have Far Cry New Dawn, Crackdown 3, and probably not Anthem. Probably not gonna be talking about Anthem quite yet.
Yeah, that would probably be the week after that.
Yeah. Are you gonna play Far Cry New Dawn or Crackdown?
I will give Crackdown a shot because I'm a Game Pass subscriber. So the wonderful perks of that is I get to play first-party games as they release, which is amazing. So I will definitely give that a shot, especially since I like Crackdown 1. I have fond memories of that. Fallout. I mean, it might as well be Fallout. Far Cry New Dawn is something I want to play. It's just not something I am like super eager to play right away. So that might be a game I hop into like later down the line when there's maybe like a lull in releases. But with February is kind of stacked with stuff. So So I need to make time for especially Anthem when that drops. Yeah.
So I imagine next week we'll hit the news and talk Crackdown and maybe a little Far Cry and maybe my final thoughts on Metro. But other than that, I think that's all there really is. We're working on getting a special guest. I've heard an update on a special guest I was working on getting for a very long time before this podcast even started. So hopefully we will have him soon.
Fingers crossed.
It is a him. Fingers crossed. I don't want to jinx it. But I think that's it for episode 5 of the GameZone podcast. I'm Cade Onder, the editor-in-chief of GameZone.com. We got news, reviews, everything in between. Mike, plug yourself.
And I'm Mike. You can follow me on Twitter at MichaelSplechta. That's at Michael Splechta. And I'll also plug in Matt because he left early because of no Kingdom Hearts spoilers for him, but he's at MattIsForReal_. You can follow him on Twitter there.
Is that all how it sounds?
Yes. At MattIsForReal. Yep. All spelled out and then underscore at the end.
Alrighty. I think that's it then. Alright. See you guys next week for Crackdown 3 and the other game that I forgot, Far Cry.
Sounds good. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.